And that is what we're doing right now. The last part of Way Out There on GJRB. As we close out our program for today and wrap up our last 15 minutes of the program. So we'll kind of use this last 15 minutes to kind of dig in there and give you our rundown. This is last 15 minutes brought to you by Premier Radio Networks. Fine people that bring you coast to coast AM across America on fine talk stations. Coast to coast AM. And here is this week's guest lineup and shows for Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Starting tonight with Nature, People, and Open Lines. George Norrie will have guest Christian Von Leur. He's going to professional trained psychic medium. We'll discuss ongoing work exploring the direct communication with nature, people, as well as other realms of consciousness, including ghosts and angels, and how we can tap into their dimensions. Really weird. Energies and enhance the decision-making intelligence, followed by Open Lines. Saturday night, Somewhere in Time. We'll talk about that here. Art Bell. That is on 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific, which is equal to 8 to midnight our time in the Central Time Zone. And 7 o'clock in the well, I think it's 7 o'clock in the East, isn't it? Something like that. No. Yeah. Well, anyway, Somewhere in Time, we'll go back to December 15th, 1999. I think I was listening to the show this night. This is a good one. Caller speculating what's going to happen in Y2K. This is good. Gotta listen to this one. Art Bell. December 15th, 1999. That ought to be a good program. After that, coming up within the midnight hour, Connie Wells will be the guest. Connie Willis, she's the guest host. We'll have Bill Sweet and Melanie Young. Is prayer real or does it work? Prayer researcher Bill Sweet joins Connie Willis, discuss this scientific laboratory test. Why does it have to be scientific? Concluded to measure the good and the bad motivations of prayer, and the effectiveness of asking for help from above. First hour guest, Star Child scholar expert Melanie Young, who reports on the latest discoveries of DNA testing and mysterious 900-year-old skull. Talk about that one. That's going to be weird. I'm going to do something on that Way Out There here. Coming up on Sunday night, Honduran Lost City and Witness Encounters as George Knapp takes the helm with Douglas Preston and Simeon Hine. Rumors that long circulated about the ancient lost city hidden in Honduran interior. Author and researcher Douglas Preston joins him to recount the aerial missions using LiDAR laser technology to map the terrain, along with rainforest canopy, and will share the tantalizing surprises of what the flight revealed. Should be a good show, kind of. Second half of the show, sociologist Dr. Simon Hine details his investigation into how our society treats witnesses to unexplained events such as UFOs, mysterious beings. He looks deeply into our society and is so reluctant to engage in addresses of critical issues raised by such phenomenon. Well, every once in a while I have to take a break from that because it kind of like messes up my eyes once in a while. I do that. That's weird. That's that Coast to Coast site does that. Anyway, going to Monday night, George Norrie back where he belongs for an interesting show featuring Neil Howell, historian and author, will discuss his work on generations and how they shape history, as well as the 20-year cycle of crisis facing the U.S. He'll reveal the trends in play, including millennials entering adulthood, Generation X taking over leadership roles, and baby boomers dealing with retirement issues. So that should be a good one. Second half of the show, author and expert on shadow people and the Hat Man. Okay, they're going to describe the chronicle of these dark menaces and how they're interrupting lives around the globe. She'll report on the latest cases being investigated. Probably talk about that bit over in Zambia. Let's see. Vaccination and Government. Tuesday night with Jonathan E. Mord. I guess that's how you pronounce it. His name. Constitutional lawyer specializing in the food and drug law. The only attorney in history that has defeated the Food and Drug Administration 7 times in the federal court. And he'll update his work on the many issues relating to vaccines, including the state medical boards, retaliating against the physicians who speak out against vaccinations, as well as changes happening in Washington, D.C. regarding the FDA, followed by open lines in the latter half. Then we go to climate. We're going to get more into climate change and extinction on Wednesday night, March 22nd, with Peter Ward, publishing more than 140 scientific papers and numerous books dealing with the paleontological, zoological, and astronomical topics. He will discuss the state of the planet, recent news reports about the demise of the Great Barrier Reef, and how he's been warning about this many, many years ago. Also address climate change, melting ice caps, asteroid impacts, dying oceans, and mass extinction. Second half will be a guest to be announced. So listen to Coast. Okay, we go to Thursday night. We go to Thursday night the 23rd. Christian Weil will be on there, along with Nick Redfern. That's always a good show. They're going to discuss the latest work in the arena of health and overlooking medical conditions. Also address the many health advances in science and longevity to be accomplished. In the second half of the show, ufologist and cryptozoologist Nick Redfern will be talking about secret orders and shadowy organizations that have scalp society in the global scale. He'll be revealing these with a who parade their power in our faces, despite secret affiliations, and those who refer to lurk in the darkness and pulling planet-wide strings. And since we don't have no programs coming up after this is over on our GJRB closed circuit signal, we will stay on until the end of this. Okay, so we're going to kind of stay a little longer here, just a little bit to the end. We have about 36 minutes left. Let me see. Why don't we just stay past 6 a little bit? We'll just go off, because I really don't anticipate I run out of material. So, no, change my mind on that. Switch that. I'm just going to stay on the air until about another 6 more minutes. Okay, we're going to stay on the air for another 6 more minutes, and then we're going to close out for today. So we're going to stay a little longer, but that's going to be it. And then let's take a look at next Friday, which will be March 24th. There will be, now if we, for the 9-foot signal listeners, if we do get our a little automation going again, I might be broadcasting that night, the 24th, going to the 25th, because we're going to be doing sports page that day, and we want to maybe keep the FM station on pretty much through that whole weekend. That weekend, guest host Jimmy Church will be doing the show with Randall Carlson, master builder and architectural designer, and geological explorer and renegade scholar. 4 decades of research and exploration into the interface between ancient mysteries and modern science. Joining Jimmy, he'll discuss the research into Earth changes, catastrophic events, as well as the ancient mythology, astronomy, and paleontology symbolisms, secret geometry, and architectural. So that should be pretty good. Followed by open lines in the latter half. And that's what's going to be on this week on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, brought to you by Premier Radio Networks on many fine stations, talk radio stations across America. And for people listening here on our 9-foot closed circuit, it'll be here on Talk FM 108, maybe 107.9 FM, or WOC Talk Radio 1420, or WMT Cedar Rapids at AM 600. Again, it might even be on our 9-foot signal here, carried from our GJRB Florida affiliate, WFLA Tampa. So there you go. Kind of going down the line one more time before we close out tonight. I'm going to close out and just kind of go through one more time here the sweep of our Facebook page, and I don't see anything more interesting on here, so I'm looking down the page here. Maybe I'll find something. Let's see, before we close out. Okay, why don't we do, before we close out, let's see. Kyle Schwarber knocked out 4 home runs today. Yeah, in a 7-3 win over the White Sox. Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win. They're looking good so far this spring season. I mean, their spring training is looking good. So we're going to be looking forward to some Cubs baseball here not too far distant future here on GJRB. Haha, can't wait on our 9-foot FM signal, Talk FM 108, GJRB LP FM, our closed circuit FM signal, where we bring you the best in sports with Chicago Cubs baseball. So tune in for that on our 9-foot signal if you're living in the vicinity of 107.9. All right, well, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our theme. Get ready to close out here. Let's see where way out there. Didn't really get to cover as much as I wanted to, but I think we covered a good chunk of some of the stuff I said I was going to do. So we're doing pretty darn good for this show today. So that's pretty good, huh? Yeah, we just kind of did a lot. We did a lot with our thing. We had a nice call come in from my wife, Lori. Thank you for kind of making this show a little bit more interesting. And thank you for that. And we'll do this again as we return to our brand new season here on GJRB Online. And we'll have more of these Way Out There shows. And I'm going to be working on some brand new shows. This was kind of a mediocre show compared to, let's say, last show, when we had that bit on Planet X. And we've been getting hits on that program. As a matter of fact, that's one of the programs we will be repeating when we do our new program schedule in the beginning of our GJRB Spring Spectacular. When we do our broadcast day, that's going to be another show that will be taken off here, but will be repeated. That's on the list of shows to get taken off, and they will get on the program schedule. So you'll be able to hear that interview again. It's fabulous. And I'm working on some more stuff. I'm going to even get my own guests. I'm going to be lining them up and see if we can get some more people to be on the program, which I'm kind of looking forward to trying to do. And also going to do more with Linda Moultonhouse Earth Files. We're going to see if we can maybe someday soon might be able to get Linda Moultonhouse herself on here. You never know. We'll try and maybe see what we can do about that. But we're going to try and see if we can get some guests. I'd like to have that. I really would. I'm going to work on it as I communicate with some of the people I'd like to have on. Because I really want to talk about atmospheric and I want to talk about planet changes, but also apocalyptic stuff. So don't be surprised at what we got coming up in 2017 for Way Out There here on GJRB Online, because it's going to be good. I can guarantee you. You know, it's going to be good. You're going to want to be a part of that. So I hope that you will tune in to Way Out There in 2017 continues here on GJRB Online. And maybe perhaps make it interesting by having guests on this program. I'm going to be doing some research and lineups. So this is our postscript, our last part of the show, where I kind of conclude things, put things to bed, so to speak, close up the show, and end it from here. So that's what we're doing right now here on GJRB Online. So we're going to say goodbye. That's it for Way Out There for today. And that's it for our live broadcast for a while. Like I said before, we'll be doing a GJRB schedule update podcast. And we will be talking about our program schedule. That will be uploaded. And then our swing time will be uploaded on the Easter weekend. So I'm going to be recording that. Got a lot coming up, so I hope you will want to tune in for that here. And keep it on GJRB Online for some great programming always. Okay? Until then, that's it for me, Gary J. Rustin. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And remember to look up in the skies and let me know what you see way out there in the mysteries of space. Until then, have a great weekend. So long, everyone. It's that time of year once again. Spring. A time when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics, featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too, old movie trailers, and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular will also mean the return of the blues with Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Russell program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorder to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts in April on GJRB. After 1 year, the wait is over. Now join Pastor Ron Johnston and a panel of men and women to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy. In this world of chaos and upheaval, this is the program that puts it all into perspective. How will we survive? God only knows. So trust Him and listen to the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast or live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB Online. America's street music is back on GJRB Bluegrass with the Grassgolds, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too. Every third Saturday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. Programs scheduled on GJRB Online are subject to change and can change. If they do, watch for GJRB Schedule Update podcast on my Spreaker public site for time and date change announcements.
This is GJR Broadcasting.